What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Leo coming to you guys with yet another video. Coming to you guys today, trying to predict every WrestleMania 40 match. And I know probably a lot of people are wondering, like, how are you going to try to predict the WrestleMania 40 match when WrestleMania is only 7 months away? Well, I'm going to be trying to predict every match that I could possibly see happening at WrestleMania 40, and I'll kind of go in depth with a few of them, and I probably won't with a few of them. I just want to give you that disclaimer. So, I do have about 12 or so matches. So I wanted to. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as I can. But if I go in depth and stuff like that, please forgive me. I want to give you guys reasons why I think some of these matches can potentially happen. So the first match we're gonna talk about is Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar. Now I know Brock Lesnar, he's on vacation right now. Randy Orton, he hasn't made his return yet. Now imagine you have them both return in the men's Royal Rumble match in 2024, and you have that stare because there is unfinished business there between the two. If going back to 2016 SummerSlam when they main evented, Brock Lesnar busted open Randy Orton, and I think Randy Orton can be in a sense where he hasn't forgave Brock Lesnar for what he did, and he hasn't forgotten what he's done, and it's a situation where Brock Lesnar eliminates Randy Orton from the Royal Rumble, and then Randy Orton doesn't. He's not taking it from anybody anymore. He's kind of starting to show more of his legend killer type of energy. He's going on that type of timing. And he comes back in the ring and RKO's Brock Lesnar, and it leads to Brock Lesnar being ultimately eliminated in the match, and you setting that up at Mania. And I think the story is there because there is some unfinished business there between the two, and I think the story could be going into Mania is them being legends and not having a lot of time left, but for Randy wanting his revenge. I think his whole arc could be going on a revenge tour of those who wronged him and those who have done him wrong in the past. So I do think Randy Orton going after one of the people, the main people that kind of started it, Brock Lesnar. So I do think that could be one of the marquee matches in a sense for Mania, and I think people wouldn't be too upset about it just because people love Randy, and then you have those who love Brock. So I think it could be an even playing field in a sense. The next match we got to talk about is a ladder match for the U.S. title. We have LA Knight versus Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bobby Lashley versus Damian Priest versus Kevin Owens versus Dominic Mysterio. Now at this point, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are no longer a thing. Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest are no longer a thing. Damian Priest, he was robbed out of the briefcase, he was kicked out of the Judgment Day, and pretty much the Judgment has imploded. Everybody is going on and do their own thing. Now you have a situation where Dominic, he wants to make this win, have this win for Mommy for doing it for Rhea Ripley. He's trying to dedicate that win. Damian Priest is trying to go back to his roots and do everything on his own again. Forgot what and try to get back to the title that he won when he first came to the main roster, which was the U.S. title. So he's trying to get back to his roots a little bit. You have AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. There's no love lost there. You have Bobby Lashley going in as the U.S. champion. You have LA Knight being one of the fan favorites at this point, and you have LA Knight win. Just imagine the impact of LA Knight winning the championship, but not just winning it, but doing it on the biggest stage you can possibly give him that championship at, being WrestleMania. The crowd would erupt. You would have the crowd eating out of the palm of your hands if you were to do this moment at Mania. And I think a lot of the fans would definitely be full on board with LA Knight being champion and winning the championship at WrestleMania. It would definitely be a fan favorite moment and would definitely have the crowd in their seats in a sense and have them full on having their energy and everything like that. So I do think that is a match that they should do. And I love ladder matches. I think they need to go back to having ladder matches for these and stuff like that. They need to start doing this a little bit more often. So I hope that they do. The next match is Finn Balor versus JD McDonough. We have teacher versus student. JD McDonough, Finn Balor, he was one of the main reasons that he brought JD. He was the only one that really wanted JD in Judgment Day besides everybody else. Everybody wasn't really okay with it, but they ultimately decided to let Finn Balor have the ultimate say, and he brought JD in. But the thing that JD was doing, he was doing something similar to what Sami Zayn did with the Bloodline. He was trying to crumble the Judgment Day from within, have everybody going up against each other, and ultimately he got what he wanted by the Judgment Day imploding. Now you have Finn Balor versus JD McDonough, teacher versus student, because Finn Balor trained JD, he got him ready, he taught him everything he knows, but he didn't teach JD everything that he knows. And now we're having a teacher versus student storyline going into Mania, and usually this is one of the formats that they do like to look to when they do have Mania, and that is Finn Balor. Well, I was not Finn Balor, but they love to do the teacher versus student storyline. We've seen it a little bit in the past. We've seen it with Seth Rollins and Triple H, just to be as for an example. And now we're just seeing it again with Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Now, who do we have win? I think Finn Balor doesn't really have a problem putting JD over, because I think you want to build a star out of JD. You want to make him a big deal, have him beat Finn Balor, and then you have him go up against whoever's the champion, the mid-card champion and stuff like that, whatever brand, because the whole brand split doesn't really matter anyway. So he can go to whatever brand he wants to. But I do think that is a match that they're probably going to potentially set up for Mania. The next match we got to talk about is a women's tag team turmoil match. We have the champions Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. I did add them as a tag team. I think they're starting to gel just a tad. I want to see more from them to see what they actually do. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, King Carter and Katana Chance, and the returning iconics of Billie Kay and Peyton Royce returning as a surprise for this match. And then not only is this not a tag team tournament, but it's also elimination style. So not only just does one, but then in this match, you have to pin both opponents or both tag team members have to be eliminated for that team to be eliminated. It can't just be one member getting eliminated and the tag team is done. No, that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna have everybody's gonna have to be pinned, or whatever the case is, for an actual winner to be crowned and a tag team champion to be crowned. And this time going into this match, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven are going as champions. I do think they want to give them a lengthy reign. I kind of love the character work of Chelsea Green right now. I love the whole caring type of gimmick. So hopefully they can kind of expand upon that and expand upon this unlikely partnership between the two, and you have that kind of gel a little bit going by the end of the year, and then going into Mania. Then you have Iconics be a surprise entrant, and you have them win, because I think having the Iconics win the championship would add a little bit of importance to the championship, because I feel like the championships haven't felt important in a long time, because the thing with the championships, they often, whoever's champion, one of them gets injured and something happens. We've seen it with Sonya Deville. We've seen it with Liv Morgan. We've seen it with Raquel. We've seen it happen numerous times over the last few years, or the last few months, honestly. So I do think having Iconics win the championship and adding some prestige and importance to the championship is definitely necessary if you want them to be taken at least somewhat serious in any way. I don't know for at the point where it doesn't. Even if they did, it wouldn't feel important. But I would try to give it the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, I would have them have that match. The next match we have to talk about for the undisputed tag team titles, we have DIY versus the Street Profits versus the LWO versus the Alpha Academy versus Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander versus Louis Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci for the undisputed tag team titles. And in this match, we have the Street Profits coming in as the tag team champions. They beat Finn Balor and Damian Priest to win the titles. They're going in as champions. Now, the thing that people are going to be saying, well, aren't they going to be heel? No, I feel like the thing with the Street Profits, in my opinion, I don't think they can play as a heel, in my opinion. I feel like at best they could be a face with an edge. I think that is what they desperately need. They need a little bit more of an edge. And I think they are achieving that by having them be with Bobby Lashley at the time of me recording this video. But I just don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. I think ultimately, something's going to happen at some point. And I don't know how they're going to go about it, but I think at some point they're going to have that be taken care of, and they're probably going to go off in his own, or maybe Bobby Lashley leaves or something like that, and now they're back on their own again. And now they have that edge, that newfound aggression that they can have, and the fans are getting behind it, and you have them going as champions. and you have other champions like DIY. You have former NXT Tag Team Champions and DIY. People would love to see them back together. You got LWO because I know people want to see them. You're gonna have Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci who want to become tag team champions. So you're gonna have different elements that people are gonna be paying attention to see who potentially could become tag team champions. And when it's all said and done, DIY are going to become the tag team champions. I think that would be a huge moment because I think for a lot of people who aren't accustomed or catered to the NXT or haven't watched NXT, I think this will be a huge way to showcase them to the best of their potential and actually have them, the fans who aren't familiar with them, get more familiar with them now that they are the tag team champions. The next match we got to talk about is Charlotte Flair defending the women's championship against Bianca Belair. I know Charlotte's going to end up defeating Io Sky, and then we're going to get Bianca challenging for Charlotte for the championship. I think this is the direction that they are going to be going into Mania. I think the seeds has already been planted. I'm not sure who's going to be the heel. I think maybe Bianca, since she's taking time off, maybe she does come back as a heel. We will just have to see. But I do think there is a possibility that we're going to end up getting this match on one of the nights of WrestleMania 40. So I do think the thing with Bianca, in my personal opinion, she's kind of just like the Street Profits. I don't think she can work as a face just because of how much her fan base is and how much the kids really love her. I don't think they should have her turn heel, at least not right now. As of right now, at least, I do think they can build to that. Maybe once she wins the championship, you have her kind of become more paranoid in her reign. And speaking of the reign and stuff like that, I want to talk about this. The thing with a lot of baby faces I've noticed over the last couple months and a couple of years as being a wrestling fan, and Bianca is a prime example. The ultimate goal for them, the story of them winning the championship is the biggest goal. That's the real story right there. The story should be not only just them winning it, but what comes after they win the championship. What is their character, the character development? That should be a story. Their alliances, who they're aligning with. Are they going to stand by themselves? Will they have people align themselves with somebody to protect their championship? Have different things that play out. Their opponents, who they face after they win the championship. Those are different things that they need to start doing when a champion is being crowned. Not just having the moment of them winning the championship, but what did they do after they win? What changes about them? Where does their trajectory go? Where does their character development go? Who do they face? Where do they become more? Will they change for the good, for the better? Will they change for the worse? Those are storylines that we need to start seeing play out with a lot of men and women once they become champion. So I don't really that they do that, but I do think they're gonna end up having this match at WrestleMania 40. So you already know it's gonna happen. And another match we know that's gonna happen. We got Jay versus Jimmy Uso versus Uso brother versus brother. Bloodline Warfare Part 3 again, or Part 969. I think they're gonna end up adding this match. I think they're taking a pause off of it, so because I think they want to actually make it mean something and not feel like it's more of a drag and stuff like that. So I do think them adding that match will be something a lot of people would have their eyes on going into Mania. I think this will probably be one of the marquee matches, and I do think this should be one of the matches that does potentially either open night one, because I think sometimes you want to open up in a big way, or you want to close in a big way. So either them open or closing, I could see happening. So I think, and somebody even shout out to I think it was Tino that shout out to Tino stuff. I think we talked about it in our live stream last night. We potentially could see Team Jimmy versus Team Jay at Survivor Series, and I do think that is a possibility that can happen, because not only you're starting to slowly get to the point that they were trying to get to, which is Jay versus Jimmy Mania, but not only they have that match at Survivor Series, but you have them be part of the Royal Rumble match, and maybe a situation where one eliminates the other, or they eliminate each other by accident. And then now they're both eliminated. Now you have a situation where maybe they be part of Elimination Chamber, and then one of them takes out the other. And now you have that match be built up for Mania. So I do think them putting Jay on Raw for now just to kind of separate the two until they're actually ready to pull the trigger on that feud is the smart call in the grand scheme of things. Because you don't want a match that people are looking forward to seem like a drag. So I do think that was the right call, but I'm very excited to see that match, honestly. The next match we got to talk about for the not the U.S. title, but a celebrity match. I already talked about the U.S. Championship. Sorry. We're gonna have a rematch from SummerSlam: Ricochet versus Logan Paul. Now, I think this match makes sense just because of the way everything was played up at SummerSlam. Um, Ricochet can go under this whole character development type of thing where he's not a heel in a sense, but he's more of a face. He has a little bit of ego. And he's tired of people pushing him around. And he's tired of people walking all over him and thinking they can just do whatever he wants to him and embarrass him and not get dealt with. So he makes an example by calling out the person that was really doing just that, Logan Paul. He knocked out Ricochet at SummerSlam due to interference from one of his buddies. And not only that, he beat Ricochet in front of his soon-to-be wife. And that right there is not okay. So now I think a situation with Ricochet, he said, I'm not going to just let him get away with that. I want my get back. He can go in he could be a situation where Ricochet goes to a talk show where Logan Paul is at, or on his podcast, or he sees him in public at an event or something. And he says, I ain't forget what you done. I want my get back with you. We ain't finished yet. And whatever I got to do to get back to you, I'm going to do just that. And then you have them face at Mania, and you have Ricochet get his big win at WrestleMania in front of all the fans, in front of his wife, and it will be a big moment for Ricochet, because at the time of recording the video, I don't think Ricochet has ever competed in a one-on-one capacity match at WrestleMania. Comment down below, let me know, has he ever competed in a one-on-one match at Mania? I don't think he has. So I do think this will be a cool moment for him in the grand scheme of things. But I do think that is a match that I do see playing out. The next match we got to talk about for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins going into WrestleMania 40 as a champion, defended it against the Royal Rumble winner, none other than Gunther. The same guy that made it to the final two last year with Cody Rhodes is the guy that wins this year's Royal Rumble and goes on and punches his ticket to become the new World Heavyweight Champion and the Royal Rumble winner going into WrestleMania 40. And this is going to be a match a lot of people are going to be glued to, because I think this is a match that a lot of people want to see on Raw right now, but I do think they want to save it for a big show. And I think the biggest event that they can do something like this is WrestleMania itself. And I think you can still have the story where Seth is selling his back. He's still trying to carry the show on his back. He's carrying the title. And Gunther's trying to pick up the pieces and, knock Seth Rollins off to get the title. And I think he's going to do that, because I think the story will be his back going into that. I think Seth Rollins is honestly, my guy's going to get lit up like a Christmas tree, for crying out loud. He's going to get lit up like a Christmas goose. The guy will get he's going to get chopped on his back, and that's not going to feel pretty. He's going to get chopped on his chest. He's going to get chopped just regardless. And it's not going to be a good scene for a lot of people. So if you got kids, it might not be a match that you might need to see them watch. But, bless me. But I think the next match, I think this match will be cool to see, just for the simple fact that people want to see Gunther win that championship. He has been one of the more moving components on Raw. I think he has been something a lot of people have been wanting to see, and people love to see him week after week, just to see who can beat him and who can defeat him. He has reached the milestone of being the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in WWE history, so that is a huge milestone for him. Congratulations. At this time of recording the video, when he goes into Mania, he will no longer be Intercontinental Champion. I will get to that match in just a second. But I do think that is the match that they're going to do at Mania. The next match we got to talk about for the Intercontinental Championship, we got Drew McIntyre defending the championship against Sheamus. Now, Drew McIntyre, he's going in as champion. He's beating Chad Gable to become Intercontinental Champion. He turned heel in the process, and now he's a champion. He's going up against his friend, in a sense, Sheamus, and Sheamus is trying to beat the Scottish Psychopath, like I just mentioned, Drew McIntyre, to become a Grand Slam champion, because this is the one championship that has eluded him in his entire WWE career, and he's trying to win it. And I think here is where we do it. We have Sheamus win the championship on WrestleMania. It's going to be a big moment for a lot of people. I think this is going to be a harsh reset in a sense just for a lot of people. So I do think Sheamus winning the Intercontinental Championship will be a huge moment for him. And I do think he finally can have his moment of being a Grand Slam champion. The next match we have to talk about for the Women's World Championship, we got Rhea Ripley. She's been on the dominant collision course as of late. She's been defeating everybody that has stepped in her wake up until this point. Going into Mania, she's defeating Raquel Rodriguez. She's defeating Shayna Baszler. She's defeating Nia Jax because she was just recently returned to WWE. She's defeating anybody who's stepped to her. She is putting them down. She's putting people on the shelf in a sense as well. And this is where it all comes crashing down because she's competing against a familiar face, a ghost of her past in a sense. Not Raquel. That would be cool, but I don't think not this time. She's defending her championship against the Women's Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan. Now I know a lot of people are going to be trying to ask me why Liv doesn't really make sense. Well, take a pause. Take it. I want you to slow it down a little bit because I'm going to break it down for you. So pay attention. Now, WrestleMania 38. What happened? Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, they were in the tag team tournament match for the tag team titles. They did not win, but they were still tag team. What happened post-Mania? Liv was betrayed by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley turned on Liv, aligning herself with the Judgment Day, and she has been pretty much unbeaten ever since. But Liv Morgan has her number in a sense. Here's why. Liv Morgan, she kind of knows her a little bit more than just a few of her other opponents that she's faced. She's tag team with her, and they have a little bit of slight gimmick in a way, but not really, just because of the dominant factor. But I think this could be a true David versus Goliath storyline. And here's another thing. Liv Morgan also has her number in the sense of she was the last woman to defeat Rhea Ripley. Since Rhea Ripley has joined Judgment Day, Liv Morgan is the only woman that can make a claim that she has beaten Rhea Ripley since joining Judgment Day. No other woman can make that claim but Liv. Now, that is another factor right there. What else is their factor? Go into Royal Rumble this past year. They both were the first two women in the Royal Rumble, and they were the final two. Liv Morgan was the final woman eliminated by the winner, Rhea Ripley. She didn't get the whole that opportunity of winning. She kind of was screwed over in the sense, some fact that she couldn't really see because Asuka was still part of that match and she missed her, so she really couldn't do much. Now she's been built up, honestly. If you've really taken the time to really think about it, since even though Liv before she kind of went back down with an injury yet again, Liv was written off TV by Rhea Ripley. But she was also being protected because if you look at a lot of the matches, who was the one taking the pins? Raquel was. Liv was not taking the pins. So you could kind of see that they were kind of protecting her because they were saving her something for big. They had something big in store for her that they didn't want her to diminish what they were trying to build up or what they were trying to get to. Now you have her go on and win the Royal Rumble. And also, she's going under some type of character change, I feel like, because she's cut her hair and she has a different haircut. And usually when they have that, when a lot of these wrestlers who change their look, they usually have something big in store for them. That's usually the case. 9 times out of 10, they usually have something big for them, or then they do have, and something big will happen. So I think something big will happen. She will return at the Rumble. And think about it, if you look at the Royal Rumble. The final two women, the men's and women that were, or pretty much the final people that were eliminated in this past year's Royal Rumble matches, go on next year to win the Royal Rumble matches. I think that would be a cool story to start telling. The people who don't win the Royal Rumble matches one year end up winning the next year. I think that'll be a cool concept, honestly, because you had Gunther, who made it to the final two with Cody Rhodes and didn't win, goes on and win the next year's for the men, and Liv Morgan, who made it to the final two with Rhea Ripley. It was the last one eliminated, goes on to win the Women's Royal Rumble next year and goes on to face for the championship. So I think that'll be a cool story, and you built this up. I do think this will be a stipulation match. It's gonna be very grueling just for the backstory and the promo packages that they can tell for this storyline from start up until now will be very must see for me personally. And what's gonna happen? It's gonna be a situation where they keep going at it. Liv is going after Rhea Ripley. She's not like this smirky, always likes to laugh and have fun. She's more serious this time around. She knows what she's gonna have to do to beat Rhea. She knows what Rhea's put her through. She knows she's put her on a shelf. She knows she's costed her so different opportunities from the Women's Royal Rumble and things like that. And I was talked down to her. She took away the tag team titles. She took away their opportunity to become a tag team champions and broke up that tag team. So she's never forgotten about all those different moments that did happen. Now it all comes back down to Rhea Ripley, and it comes crashing down because Liv Morgan gets on the microphone a couple weeks before Mania, and she says, "I'm tired of you running from me and ducking and dodging me every chance you get. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this the right way. No more running. No more hiding. We're gonna make history once again. I'm gonna beat you." Liv tells Rhea, "I'm gonna beat you for that championship, but I'm gonna beat you in a place me and you have never been before." She tells Rhea, "We're going to have our match at WrestleMania inside Hell in a Cell." The first ever women's Hell in a Cell match to take place at WrestleMania. And you have that David versus Goliath storyline because now you can protect Rhea from, in a way, when she does lose, because Liv had weapons at her disposal. She goes and she ends up winning, not only winning the Rumble, but she wins the title and is the new Women's World Champion. And the final match we got to talk about for the main event, for the Undisputed Championship, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, Part 2. I think a lot of fans, including myself, thought Cody Rhodes had all the potential and had all the promise to win the championship this year, but it was not the case. Roman had the numbers game still. The Usos got involved, but Sami and Kevin countered it. You still had Paul Heyman still pulling the strings, and you had Solo ultimately come back after being thrown out. And Samoan spiked Cody Rhodes, allowing Roman to hit the spear and retain the championship. And it left the fans off on a bad note, a sour taste in their mouth. But now they have the chance to write history, to make things right by having Cody Rhodes make his triumph of being the champion, win the championship that he's never, his father didn't get the hold. He's bringing that championship. He still has that story. He's going to finish the story beating Roman, because at this point, Roman will have no help. He probably would just have the help of Paul Heyman, Samoa, the Usos doing their own thing. They're not really aligned with the Bloodline in a sense, or maybe they are, but Solo, he's doing his own thing. He's not part of the Bloodline anymore because they had their feud going into Mania as well. So it's Roman pretty much by himself, and Cody is Roman is right for the picking. Cody picks his spot. He accomplishes it. He wins the championship, but by getting to this championship, he did not win the Rumble, even though he entered, but he was eliminated by Solo Sikoa because he did not want Cody Rhodes to win the Rumble and allowing him an opportunity to go after his championship again. Now you're trying to give that opportunity of where they're trying to deny Cody, but Cody ends up winning the Elimination Chamber because Solo is part of that Elimination Chamber, mind you. He wins it, the Elimination Chamber, and punches his ticket to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and he wins the Undisputed Championship. Bada bing, bada boom, and there's your WrestleMania 40 card. Comment down below, let me know what do you guys feel about the matches that I predict happening at WrestleMania 40. Do you guys agree with them happening? Do you guys do not agree? Do you guys think somebody else could have been potentially been in that spot? Leave it all down in the comment section down below. I love having dialogue with you guys. Make sure you super kick that like button, Superman punch that post notification bell, and spear that subscriber on the road to 700. We're getting closer and closer to that milestone. I appreciate everybody that's been kicking with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.